Prime Minister Mark Carney announced a suite of affordability measures this morning, steps he says will help Canadian families struggling.
Canadians need a boost today, so orange juice is up 12% year on year. Ground beef up 19%.
Breaking tonight, Canada just shocked Washington in a way nobody saw coming. While the U.S. thought tariffs and threats could control Canadian farmers, Ottawa unveiled a $500 million food plan designed to make Canada fully independent from American supply chains. Can you visualize this? A country saying, "We don't need your approval." What happens when threats fail and a government chooses to feed its people first, not bow to its neighbor? Tonight, Canada isn't just standing up, it's leapfrogging the U.S., building a food system that could make American leverage completely irrelevant. For decades, Canada and the U.S. ran a seamless food system. Canadian beef, pork, grains, and vegetables flowed south. American produce came north. Borders were crossed countless times and both economies thrived. But then, Trump arrived. Tariffs hit steel, aluminum, and agriculture. Threats of 100% tariffs if Canada made deals with China hung over everyone. Grocery prices spiked. Beef dropped 22%, pork fell 8%, and canola shipments collapsed. Canadians felt it, and Washington thought they had the upper hand. Then Carney acted. Not with temporary fixes, not with panic negotiations. $500 million to protect Canadian food, build domestic processing, expand greenhouses, and strengthen supply chains from farm to table. This isn't charity. This isn't a short-term fix. This is permanent infrastructure that ensures Canada can feed itself, even if the U.S. tries to pressure it again. Visualize this. Canadian cattle used to be shipped to U.S. slaughterhouses, processed, and then sent back to grocery stores at higher prices. Trump's tariffs made it worse. Now, Carney is funding domestic meat processing facilities. Costs go down, supply chains stay in Canada, dependence disappears. And for American exporters, that market they relied on for decades is shrinking fast. Greenhouses are another game changer. Canada imports billions of dollars worth of vegetables from California and Mexico every year because domestic capacity is low. The $150 million fund for small and medium businesses accelerates expansion immediately. Tax incentives let companies write off greenhouse costs before 2030. Urgency is real. Within a few years, Canada could produce tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, lettuce, herbs, and berries all year round, right at home. Over the next 5 years, this could completely transform Canada's food system. Meat processing stays domestic. Greenhouses produce year-round. Supply chains are robust. Dependence on California, Mexico, or the U.S. diminishes. Canada becomes self-sufficient. And once self-sufficiency is achieved, Trump's tariffs aren't just ineffective, they're irrelevant. American exporters permanently lose market share to domestic producers. The $500 million is more than a plan, it's a blueprint. Independence, resilience, sovereignty. For Canadians, it's proof that leadership can protect citizens while turning threats into opportunity. Think about what this means globally. Countries that relied on Canada as part of the North American supply chain now see a nation creating its own path. Where once there was reliance, now there is resilience. Where once there was vulnerability, now there is sovereignty. And that, right there, changes the power dynamic entirely. Tonight, as greenhouses expand, meat processing grows, and supply chains stabilize, Canada is sending a clear message: threats don't dictate policy. Vision, courage, and action do. Washington, stunned. Their leverage, gone. The lesson is simple. Canada took what was meant to weaken it and turned it into permanent strength. Every farmer, every greenhouse worker, every grocery store benefits. Every foreign threat now strengthens domestic independence. Food sovereignty isn't just an economic strategy, it's a national declaration. This $500 million isn't a temporary fix. It's the start of a decade-long transformation. Canada is building infrastructure, empowering local businesses, and ensuring it no longer depends on American goodwill. The old model of reliance is gone. The new model, self-sufficiency, resilience, and strategic advantage. So tonight, Canadians can feel relief. Farmers can plan ahead. And the world can watch a country turn pressure into opportunity. Carney proved leadership isn't about compromising under threat, it's about creating strength in the face of it. And that right there is the shocking reality Washington never saw coming. And while the U.S. thought it could control Canada through trade, Carney just turned that threat into a massive domestic opportunity. This isn't just about food, it's a statement. A political and economic slap to anyone who believed Canada would fold under pressure. Grocery prices stabilize. Local farmers get support. Communities get jobs. Canada becomes independent, resilient, and untouchable. Opposition parties can't attack without appearing to side with foreign coercion. Citizens see results. Washington? Stunned. Every new facility, greenhouse, and strengthened supply chain is permanent infrastructure. Even if tariffs disappear tomorrow, these investments stay. They reduce dependence on the U.S. forever. And the $500 million? Just the start. Add in domestic procurement programs redirecting $70 billion to Canadian suppliers, Arctic infrastructure projects, and trade deals with China, and suddenly U.S. leverage is slipping. American exporters are starting to notice. Canada is a major market for U.S. beef, pork, grains, and processed foods, but as domestic production grows, those imports shrink. Once lost, those markets don't come back. Every threat from Trump became a reason to expand production at home. The harder the push, the stronger Canada becomes. Economic judo in action. It's personal, too. Families see grocery prices stabilize. Farmers gain certainty. Communities feel empowered. Carney didn't announce this in a boardroom. He stood in a grocery store. Canadians saw him surrounded by produce and meat. It made the plan human, relatable, and immediate. This is more than vegetables and meat. It's food sovereignty. Supply chains are stronger.